But Ouspensky, he did a wonderful thing. He tried to make it practical and to help people that were pretty beginners. And he created this idea of the 6 obstacles, the 6 obstacles. And I just want to remind this, to refreshen this as a bigger picture, so that we don't get kind of too much deep into something but miss the bigger picture. So as we get a hang of this being more present, and you are more here, you have more attention, you have more desire, you are now in the game, so you have the tools of observing one's ego and observing one's centers and observing one's personality, and observing and not judging. And we have this tool of being present, and we have this being aware of being. So these are it's almost like a warrior that has 2 swords, or like so these are the things. But then we need to take this and tackle certain areas of where we fall asleep, areas where we are lost, areas of where everybody is lost. And what Ouspensky called them, these are the 6 obstacles. Obstacles to what? Obstacles to self-consciousness, obstacles to peace, obstacles to realization of the truth, obstacles on the path. And these obstacles are simply unconscious, mechanical, operating in the 2nd state. And so Ouspensky tried to make it more practical. And we often talk about this. You all know them, but I just want to remind you of some of them. And today I want to tackle one of them that we haven't talked much. So the idea with the self-remembering, self-observation, to now observe this manifestation in oneself and try to resist it. In a way, not resisting some unpleasant emotions, but to struggle with that form of sleep. And the 6 obstacles are imagination, this daydreaming, this monkey mind state, so imagination. We talked often about this. The second one is identification. For a long time, identification is very abstract for many of us. It was very abstract for me. Because, why? Because we are identified all the time. So then it doesn't make sense. What does it mean not to be identified? Basically, it has many different forms. The idea of, basically even the state of identification, the state of imagination, its awareness is identified with the mind stream. Basically, all obstacles can condense to one: identification. Consciousness is dormant and is identified with the mind, the feelings, the lies. So the second one is identification. The third obstacle, is the expression of negative emotion, which requires identification to happen. All of these obstacles, they require identification. Basically, the awareness is hooked into something, and it believes to be that. So the non-expression, the expression of negative emotion, of unpleasant emotions, is the third one. The fourth one is the inner considering. All of this, being identified with putting out an image so that we get liked and approved, and to avoid being judged, and to be to try to be liked and not judged and appreciated, and basically identification with what other people think about me, and me being the imaginary me. That's inner considering, the fourth one. The fifth one is lying. That we are going to talk more today about it. And the last one is the unnecessary talk, just talking, rambling, whatever happens inside goes outside, just talking for the sake of talking, gossip, just chatting, sharing, like leaking energy. So all these obstacles are ways in which when consciousness is asleep, that's what happens. That's our life. And Ouspensky made it very nice and practical that, hey, if we want to be more awake, try to struggle with these sleep behaviors, sleep states, and then you're going to be more awake, and we're going to plug the leaks. All of these 6 obstacles, they are leaking our prana, life force, psychic energy, physical energy, and as we plug them, we are going to have more energy, hydrogens at our disposal, that is now funneled towards producing more self-awareness, self-consciousness, being here and now. So accessing is going to go towards the third state of consciousness, like being aware of oneself and knowing oneself with all the false and the true, and being oneself. That's what this group is. The level of this group is to transition more and more from the second state towards the higher levels of the second state and more towards the third state. That's where we are at. And only as the third state, self-consciousness, starts to be more, we live more there, and as that gets more established, only then we can go towards the fourth state, which is, the fourth state is then all this, the realization of what we talk in non-duality, or these deep teachings, or the sages and Jesus, the realization that God is in all and we are in God, and everything's an expression of consciousness or God, and seeing the truth of reality. That's the fourth state. First, we need to see the truth about ourselves. So that's a certain map. So for me, when I was younger, I was like, okay, so what do I do? What do I do? Okay, I was like, okay, well, let's see what obstacle. Choose an obstacle and work with it. Yeah, so this makes it more practical. Some of us, we all struggle with this, we all struggle, all of them, but we all tend to have one a little stronger. So lying. And I want to say that in the playlist of Reigniting the Fragments of the Fourth Way, I think with Peter we have at least a good talk or several talks on lying. And Spensky was saying that man is the only lying animal. Man is a lying animal, basically. And in a nutshell, lying encompasses a bunch of stuff. So there's obvious this lying, straight up, being deceptive, being deceptive, or being out of integrity, sneaky, manipulative, all of this. This is the more gross aspect. But then there is a lot of lying, like lying to ourselves, fooling ourselves, deceiving ourselves. Different parts talk to us. Yeah. Also, some other forms of lying is just not being real, So I'm tying this in the lying. There's all of this work around pretending, appearing, trying to look good. This ties to inner considering too. Compromising, going against ourselves, not being honest with what's really true, the signals in oneself, self-deception. I remember a quote from Suzuki Roshi saying that something like, when you lie to others, it's not so good, but it's okay. But when you lie to yourself, now there's no more medicine. And, I had a realization this period when I was doing this cleanse, and one day I was really having a difficult state, and really, and then I had this eye saying like, hey, you can try this substance, try this, just which is like some kind of shamanic substance, like some hape. Here, you can just have that, it will help, it'll be good, like. So then I got identified with it, I was like, okay, basically I took the bite, and I kind of did the hape, but in an intentional, conscious way, like with reverence, and and I did the hape, and it was really, it's like it didn't make it better, and it was like more intense. And then I heard this just voice. I was like, dude, just don't lie to yourself, man. Just don't lie. Just okay. I can't take this unpleasantness, and I'm just going to do this because I can't do it anymore. But I was like, just be honest, man. Be honest with yourself. So I was like, okay, got it. So in that lapse, there was a big lesson. Also, as you all know, dealt with a lot of recurring relational patterns and a seeming feeling of being stuck and confused. And what helped me a lot, and what helped me was to like, dude, first be honest with yourself. Just be honest with yourself. Don't fool yourself. Be honest with yourself. And then be honest to her. That helped a lot. Also, lying to others, or hiding or sneaking, is, even if we are not aware of it, is very painful to oneself. And it's like, it's yeah, we have to pay for it later. Also, in the fourth way, they were saying that actually we cannot, we have no, if we are not aware of all the different parts and the different protagonists, not lying is not possible. So it's not that, hey man, be more moral and be honest, and it's just in sleep we have no choice but to lie to others and ourselves. So that's the little intro, and I would like that we go inside and yeah, let's continue with the process. I want to say something here I forgot to say, but all that I talked about lying and all of that, but at the same time, Gurdjieff was saying also that being honest all the time with everybody is stupidity. And especially so, and that there was a powerful tool in the fourth way, because we are in some kind of hidden dynamic monastery of dedicated to this work in the midst of humanity that large of it is dedicated to the opposite of it. And this is not it's not like a kingdom of heaven in terms of like people are loving and honest and they care for you and they want the best for you. No, there's egos are tricky and dangerous. So, and we are not in a ashram, in a Ramana ashram with. We are here. We can perhaps be here, open and honest, but out there, it's important to be smart, sly. But just because we are aware of what's happening and what we are dealing with, this comes not to take advantage of anybody or to trick anybody, but you are aware of what we are dealing with and not naive. And there's a tool in the fourth way called intentional insincerity, where it's necessary to lie. However, here we have to be very clear with ourselves and not, one can use intentional insincerity out of ego and kind of out of, this can be used by forced personality and justify all kind of stuff. Jesus said to his disciples, apparently, when he sent them to the world, he said, be gentle as lambs, but cunning or sly or as serpents or something like that. So don't be naive, So I want to put this out there so it doesn't get some kind of moralistic goody kind of thing.